We will do one more progression in this series, which will enable you to square your shoulders better. Or the other way around, it will enable your shoulders to square themselves better. Not our problem anymore. But I'm sure this lesson holds many more interesting moments and benefits. So let's get right into it. If you will, please follow along and come to lie onto your back. So our starting position is on the back, and then please prop yourself up onto your elbows. So lean on your elbows. Yes, so this will get better throughout the lesson. Find a good spot to lean on your elbows. And then look in between, where to look in between the feet. So have a look at your feet. Yes, so feet can move. Legs are long, or you can cross your legs as you please. So our first movement, bring your attention back in between the area of your shoulder blades. So we could focus on the chest bone or on the spine, and rise your spine or rise your chest bone closer to the ceiling. So the area of the manubrium, this part, bring it closer to the ceiling or closer to the floor. So you sink or lower your spine or your chest in between your shoulder blades, or rise it up and down. And you can, yes, look in between your feet or look up to the ceiling. Entirely up to you. The movement is to lower and lift the chest, the spine, in between the shoulder blades. So the medial borders, this really shows if you can bring the medial borders of your shoulder blades together, and of course your whole spine can participate, should participate. So maybe you come a little bit into an arching when you rise up, and slumping when you move down. Let's take an early break. So lie back down onto your back. And let's try this again. Come up onto your elbows and lift and lower your chest. Yes, the whole chest. And do this very slowly. Very, 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 very slowly. So when you do it slow, you can feel if there's areas where it's jumping or crunching, or where it's especially smooth and pleasant, and areas where it's very unpleasant. And if you go slow enough, if you sing slow enough, you can really hang yourself in between your shoulders. You can hang your everything, the neck and the spine and the chest and your heart and the tips of the lungs, everything in between the shoulders. Or go fast. When you go fast, there's other things to notice. It's a different kind of skill to go fast or to go slow. And maybe your right shoulder is very different than your left one. Maybe one is more stronger, more agile, more dexterous. And then let's take a rest again. Otherwise we're guaranteed to have sore muscles tomorrow, but we don't want that. We want to stay in the comfort zone. So a little rest. Now, how to improve that even further? How to improve that at all? So please come up onto your elbows again. And with your right hand, reach for your left knee, to the outside of your left knee. So your right palm reaches for the outside of your left knee. So you have to lean on your left elbow, and the right arm moves over, crosses midline to your left knee and back again. Try this a couple of times. And to make your life more easy, to help you with that, also lift your knee, bend your left knee a little bit and bring your left foot closer to your buttock. So this will be a much easier movement. And once you found the easier movement, then don't lift your knee that much, but reach forward. So we want to learn to power, we want to learn to lean on the left elbow, and we want to have the right shoulder move around the chest, reach around the chest. And after you have done this a couple of times, let's also incorporate the movements of the head. So when you reach with your right hand to the outside of your left knee, look to the left, look to the floor on your left, and then to center again. And let's also introduce a differentiation. So instead of turning your head to the left and looking to the left, turn your head to the right. Same movement, but just turn your head to the right. Almost as if you would look over your right shoulder. So one time turn your head to the left to look to the floor, and one time turn your head to the right to look over your right shoulder. Let's take a break, huh? Should we? But not too long a break. Let's try again. One more time, the same thing. Reach with your right hand to the outside of your left knee and turn your head to the left, or turn your head to the right, and do it very, very slowly, very slowly. So you notice when do you turn your head in and when do you move everything else. The details. Let's become silent again. And then rest again. So that's better, huh? A little bit more silence, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more without disturbance and more with ourselves. Without noise. And then please come up onto your elbows again. And we do this same thing with the left arm. So with your left hand, reach for the outside of your right knee. So the left hand crosses midline and slides down your leg towards the outside of your left knee, or towards the outside of your left foot even. Just the direction. And then also the head movements. When you reach with your left hand for your right knee, the outside of your right knee, turn your head to the right to look down to the floor or look down to your right elbow. Or the opposite direction. Let's do the differentiation. When you reach with your left hand for the outside of your right knee, turn your head to the left, as to look over your left shoulder. That's more difficult, I suppose. Can't do it right from the start, can we? We first need to lean on the right elbow and then the movement of the left arm. There was a little bit of a crunching in the neck. I could hear it. All right, then take a rest on your back and just feel how you're resting now on your back, flattened to the floor. Maybe you still have the feeling your spine is hanging in between your shoulders now. And then come back onto your elbows. And let's try the first movement again, to lift and lower the spine in between the shoulders. How this has changed, improved. Alright, now the next movement, little break, and up again. So the next movement is head movements. So with your nose, let your nose point towards your feet or in between your feet, or your chin close to your chest, and then bring the back of the head close to the floor. So you lift your nose towards the ceiling and then you lower the back of the head towards the floor, backwards. And up again. So a lifting and lowering of the head. One time the top of your head is almost touching the floor, and one time your chin is, so on one end your chin is touching the chest, and on the other hand the back of your head is touching the floor, or somewhat close towards the floor. And of course, it's good when your whole spine can participate. But let's not overdo it at first. So take a early rest, come back onto your back. So that might have changed a lot, how you rest on your back. And then up again. And let's introduce a little bit something for the eyes. So at first, just look at the horizon at your feet, the horizon downwards towards your feet. Keep looking at the horizon downwards and bring your head backwards, backwards, backwards. Keep looking downwards and let your head sink backwards, that your top of your head is closer to the floor. And you notice when you do this, when you fix your eyes on the horizon, that's actually not such a good feeling, isn't it? I get a little bit nauseous, to be honest, when the eyes are trying to hold on to the horizon, as trying to hold on to a rope when the head is falling backwards. It makes my head spin. It's not comfortable when the eyes lag behind, when the eyes try to keep control. So let's not do that. You can take a short break and then come up again onto your elbows. What we want to do is we want the eyes to lead the movement, to pull us forwards instead of lagging behind. So maybe that's kind of a strategy to avoid feeling dizzy or nauseous or close to vomiting, if you experience that right now. So instead of fixing your eyes to the horizon in front of you, move your eyes first as if you would like to look to the horizon above you. So the eyes are leading the movement. So you're on your elbows, you're looking down to the horizon, and then you lift your eyes to the horizon above you and you let your head follow. And then you turn your eyes downwards to look at the horizon below you and let your head follow. That's much better, isn't it? So the eyes are leading the movement. So you lift your eyes to look at the horizon above you. And then the top of the head is almost touching the floor. And then you lower your eyes to look at the horizon below you. And continue with this movement, but start to bring your awareness, your attention to your whole self, to the spine, to your chest, to your how you lift and lower your spine in between your shoulder blades. So when you look to the horizon below you, you might be curved, you might be hanging through, the spine is sunk in between the shoulder blades. And when you lift your eyes to the horizon above you, the spine lifts in between the shoulders. The medial borders of the shoulder blades come together. The back arches. and then the other way around. So continue this movement as long as you see fit. And then let's take a break and lie onto the back. So that's the progression I wanted to show you. And of course there's so many ideas in it. With the eyes we could have an asymmetric situation with one eye, we could do something with the legs, but maybe you already have a couple of ideas and you can come up with your own variation if you practice with my videos, or if you practice on your own, maybe in the night or in the morning in your meditation, movement meditation sessions. And then just enjoy how you're lying on your back. Now for a last time, come onto your elbows and see that might have improved. And lift and lower your spine in between your shoulder blades. So that might have improved. And the last thing, as always, the only thing left to do is to come up to sitting and to standing. So maybe this motion of pushing yourself up from your elbows onto your hands might have become easier. That might be surprising, because it's easier now to square your shoulder. It's easier to bring your shoulder blades, the medial borders of your shoulder blades, towards each other. Yes, and then up. And when you're standing, of course, bring your attention to your shoulders and see how they hold themselves, how they hang. And then also bring your attention to your whole structure, how your feet support you up through, almost like as if you could feel the bones of your legs and your pelvis, and just how you're standing upright. So maybe we don't have to square our shoulders willfully after all. Maybe they are in a good position by themselves. And if they're not yet, you can always repeat this lesson. Of course, it was my pleasure to present you this lesson, to teach you this lesson. I hope you get many benefits from it, and see you in the next video.